All right, we've been going for a while now. It's been about an hour and a half by my watch, talking about these games, and there's a lot of other cool stuff in there. And let's just kind of briefly just touch on it, but we're just to do a little summary. For instance, Mixtape. That was one of the favorite things for me that they showed it there. It really is. It's a play for nostalgia, right? But the presentation of that and some of the concepts that they were showing in that I thought really were appealing. Like, obviously it's the mix of music in there is really cool, and this tagline of the best memories are made in music that really rings true for me in a weird way, where like I can pinpoint myself and throughout life thinking back to music, and that's kind of what they're doing here. There's skateboarding, platforming, adventure-y stuff. It's a weird mix, but it's like a stop motion-y kind of animation, which this is the only game to do that. I thought it looked freaking awesome, and the theme is extremely appealing to me. So there was Expedition 33. Alex, what did you think of that? Because it's an FRPG, a French RPG.
Genuinely shocked that it is turn-based, it looks like. Genuinely shocked.
Right.
Like a Western, extremely expensive-looking presentation being a turn-based game.
Haven't had that since Anachronox.
Sure. And in this case, it's like, that shocked me. I also liked the visual styling. It seems to be some sort of many worlds, or I don't know exactly what the storyline is, but it is going for something that did not look, for example, I'm sorry to pick on this game, but like they showed off Dragon Age, and like to me, like there was just like, there's RPGs, not every RPG has to be the same, but like the visual styling of Dragon Age to me just looked like extremely modern, generic. And this year I was actually very intrigued by the visual stylings that I saw, because it was, like showing things that you don't tend to see too often in video games. So that got me really excited from the visuals and obviously from the gameplay perspective, because it's kind of daring to say, no, sit down, wait for your turn to be done.
I love turn-based.
It's not as flashy. It's not nearly as flashy. So, yeah.
Oh, pardon me, it's Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So it's a very tricky little name there, I would say, but
yeah, for sure.
It looks awesome. Next, though, on the list, Oliver, what did you think of South of Midnight?
Oh, I thought it looked pretty good. It has that same kind of like staccato animation style, animation every 3, 4, 5 frames, just like we saw with Mixtape. I was impressed here. They showed off a good amount of gameplay, which we didn't actually see a whole lot of from this showcase. That's my one criticism of it. They're doing something interesting with the animation during gameplay, where they kind of are going halfway, so they aren't going all the way in the direction of maintaining their stylistic flourishes, but they aren't going all the way in terms of ditching it, sort of like Hi-Fi Rush did. They're kind of like animating on twos, but updating the character position every frame. That's kind of how it's going there, which I think is an interesting compromise. I think it looks okay. It looks better than I think we saw a little bit in Mixtape, where they're rotating the camera at the same time as keeping the characters on this very staccato movement, which is a little disorienting to me personally. But I was impressed with this gameplay. I think it looks really iconic, really interesting. I don't know what tech they're using. Unreal Engine would probably be a safe bet these days, but looks really cool.
Yeah, that's a hot one, definitely. Quickly mention Atom Fall, which is kind of the first new thing I've seen from Rebellion for a while. That's not about sniping or zombies. Well, maybe there's some zombies in there, actually.
Could be some
zombie-like things going on in there. They added TAA, it looks like, which was something that their prior games really didn't have. They had a very like overly sharp look, perhaps. But this looks like a significant visual upgrade from a lot of their previous games as well, I would say.
Mm-hmm. On some levels for sure.
Nothing like pushed. No boundaries are being pushed here. Let's be clear, but it's handsome.
And Oliver did, right before we started talking, did mention that's his 2025 title with cross-gen. So,
oh my God, that's right.
5 years into the current generation. I don't know. That seems really intense. We'll see what that means at the end. But it's good to see them doing something that isn't the Sniper Elite series. Seriously, I'm happy to see them doing something else. And it was also first person, which Sniper Elite isn't unless you scope in. So I like that. Good. We'll cover that, I hope. Yep. Dragon Age was I thought this looked. I'm so sorry. I thought this was really unappealing. Like when they changed the name, I was like, that sounds very different. And then the logo was like this purple now.
Yeah.
The text is like purple, and we just had Concord last week. To me, this looked like single player Concord in terms of the notes it was trying to hit in the trailer.
Yes.
You know, like you have to be really into this humor and this presentation style of just like the way you show off things.
Joss Whedon-ified.
Wow, it did not hit for me at all. Incredible.
Well, yeah, apparently this might have been born from the ashes of a Dragon Age project that was a cooperative multiplayer game. So I think you might see that a little bit here. I think it looks, technically at least, it looks quite good. But again, this is Frostbite. I don't know exactly what the provenance of this is, so it's hard to say. I want to see some gameplay. I'm enjoying that word today.
Stylistically, it kind of reminded me of Dragon Age 2, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
But that game is awful looking, I think. Sorry.
Ouch. Speaking of awful, State of Decay 3 was also shown, and it looked fine in the trailer. I don't understand those games. Like, do either of you guys play State of Decay? Like,
I might have played
any
it
interest?
10 minutes maybe once. It looks a lot better than the other State of Decay games. I'll give them that.
I was going to say
It's
the other
using
ones were
UE5.
genuinely like ugly games.
Yeah.
This one, provided what's in this trailer is representative of the type of visuals they're going for, then I'd say it actually is a good looking game now, which is cool.
Very good looking in that case.
Yeah.
Quite.
But once again, a lot of cinematic there, so hard to get a read on. I mean, the other games are like kind of like survival base building mechanics. So, right, if I'm not mistaken.
Not to knock this, by the way. I think I see why people have a lot of fun with these, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just our tastes. It's not commenting on the quality of the game.
No. I would say shout out to Age of Mythology Retold. Age of Mythology is largely forgotten and very bright, clean art style in that original game. 3D graphics was rare for the time. And here, very similar approach to visuals. We didn't see actually like the UI. I'm very curious. I don't think we saw the UI. I'm very curious to see what that looks like because
it's on consoles, right?
It's also on consoles.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be day and date on Xbox.
Yeah.
And they still have yet. I think they can still show off more Eastern mythologies. Here they focused on, like the primary African and Mediterranean cultures, and the Norse too as well. And I'm just curious to see if they actually, with DLCs down the road or expansions, whether they go east. So I would actually like to see subcontinent stuff or something else. But that looked fantastic, I thought.
Heck yeah. And honestly, there's a lot more stuff there that we didn't talk about. Not all of it necessarily appealing to us. Like, don't care. Fallout 76, like that's a good game. They've turned it around. There's some cool stuff for Sea of Thieves coming. That's nice. Mecha Break looked kind of cool. There's good stuff there. Assassin's Creed we'll probably talk about with Ubisoft. Flight Sim, always gorgeous. Wu Chang looked nice. Like there's a ton of stuff that was showed. It was a gigantic show. Very impressive showing overall.